Wilds of Eldraine reintroduced us to a ton of our favorite folklore characters, mechanically a whole host of new adventures, and new to the world of MTG, bargaining, looking at you, beseech the mirror, and in the What's More department, a whole host of new combos. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, and today we'll be discussing our favorite combos introduced in Wilds of Eldraine. And if you're still finishing off your collection, I'll encourage you to use my link below to purchase your Wilds of Eldraine now. Big thanks to Wizards for sponsoring this video. And the first combo we'll be discussing involves Agatha of the Vile Cauldron. Agatha does a little bit of everything, so there had to be a few incidental combos. If you have Pala and Meria, you can tap Pala to get a green, then use that green to untap Pala thanks to the reduction from Agatha. And in the process, get a mana of any color. Since both are mana abilities, no one can respond. And you can make infinite mana of any color. And if you're playing Agatha as your commander, probably just go with Gruul. Afterwards, pay that mana into Agatha to make your creatures 200/200s with haste and trample. Agatha's top effect caught most of our attention, but that bottom activated ability is a fantastic finisher with a flush board and infinite mana, something that this Gruul list shouldn't have too much trouble with. And if you thought Agatha was good, you should see what she's whipping up in her Cauldron. Agatha's Soul Cauldron fixes colors, buffs your creatures, hates graveyards, and is essentially a make-your-own Necrotic Ooze kit. If you want a simple combo setup, entomb and exile a Razaketh with your commander out, and a handful of creatures. However, you can do a lot more here. Exile a creature with an untap effect like a Phaedo Alchemist. Activate the creature you gave the counter to untap the Cauldron. Tap the Cauldron to give another creature a counter. You can repeat these steps to assemble one of several different combos. Say Phyrexian Devourer and Walking Ballista, Asmodeus and Scourge Familiar, one of my favorite combos, or Pala and any big dork, just to name a few. This is one of the better reanimate spells to be printed ever, and at colorless for 2 CMC is a versatile utility for any list that wants to incorporate a reanimate shenanigan. I'm curious to hear how you guys are incorporating Agatha's Soul Cauldron in your decks. Let me know your favorite combo in the comments below. Next up we have Flick a Coin, and I'm sure you're wondering why I'm bringing up an instant speed common spell. Well, that's because Zada, of course. What everyone else sees as flicking a coin, Zada sees as winning the jackpot. Zada is a pretty underrated CEDH commander. The more random target spells that come out, the stronger it gets. Flick a Coin is just the latest bomb in Zada's arsenal. This card can easily become a draw 10 and create 10 treasures. If you have any recursion, you can storm off. The only downside is that you will have to start killing off your creatures, but if you draw into a buff spell or two, you can continue the storm. While Zada's not particularly lacking targeted cantrips, new ones are always welcome, particularly ones that both net you a draw and give you a treasure. And next up we have Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but wait, we already discussed this one. Yeah, mostly, but there's more. Let's just say we have Agatha's Soul Cauldron with Kiki Jiki in the bin and Metallic Mimic on the battlefield, or anything that would make your creatures enter with +1 counters. This allows you to make infinite bodies. Provided you have a Blood Artist effect out, Kiki's ability will handle the rest. You can also do the same line with Grist instead of Kiki, making a mess of insects instead and milling your library for a solution. Likely a Dread Return or a Sevinne's Reclamation line. After milling your entire library, you of course can use a Dread Return to reanimate Thassa's Oracle, but that's none too thrilling. However, what are your favorite play lines for the Cauldron? I'd love to hear them. Next up, we have Experimental Confectioner. Yes, Golgari just got another good creature combo. Find Took, then find Experimental Confectioner. Thanks to Took, Confectioner will make 2 food tokens when it enters. If you have another food or another way to make a token, you can sack 3 food to draw off of Took. Confectioner will then make 3 rats, and Took will make 3 foods. You now have infinite draw and infinite rats. To assemble the combo, you can use Protean Hulk to find both cards. If you need to get an extra food, you can find Activated Sleeper first to copy Hulk, find Took, and sack that Hulk to find Confectioner and something like Orcish Bowmaster to make a token and a food. What's nice, and as was suggested earlier, this is an entirely self-enclosed Golgari combo. However, introducing more colors to the mix invites new playlines. Big thanks to PubStomp MTG for highlighting this one. Next up we have Totentan's Swarm Piper. There are several effects that make a token when a creature dies, but not many in the commander slot at this cost. These effects have been used with Yawgmoth to draw your deck, providing more bodies to the draw effect and more opportunities to storm off with altars. Speaking of, you can use Phyrexian Altar in any pay to reanimate creature to, at minimum, get infinite death triggers. paired with the Blood Artist effect, and you get where we're going here. I actually really like Totes with Nim Deathmantle and Ashnod's Altar, because you also get the trigger when Totes dies. This is an extremely versatile 3 CMC commander in Rakdos that will be slept on. Don't be the one sleeping on it though. Let me know if you've built a list for Totes. I'd love to see it. And not to outdo Master Totes, though she is mythic rare, we have Rowan, Scion of War. Almost everyone has heard about the new Rowan, so here are some combos that she enables. Since cost reduction affects buyback, assuming you've lost gobs of life, Reiterate turns any ritual into infinite mana and lets you infinitely copy a burn spell. Searing Touch and something like Burgi will let you deal infinite damage. So aside from all of the Rakdos combos that Rowan makes cleaner, there are some extra combos that are made possible by Rowan. We've discussed Rowan quite a bit here on the channel, and as a matter of fact, made quite the list for her on a live stream deck tech, which I highly encourage you check out. But the short of that video is she good in the command zone? The answer is yes. Yes, she is. Next up, we have a Barosian who's Kellen it. Kellen the Fey-Blooded. Who knew a tutor in the command zone could be a good thing? Kellen, on an adventure, makes things get really crazy really quick. Mulligan into an untapped creature, and Kellen will find you Splinter Twin for infinite damage. Kellen can also find Breath of Fury, which is an infinite combo with a number of haste token generators, my personal favorite being Loyal Apprentice. But there's also Elemental Mastery, which you can also find with Kellen. We also made a commander list for this legendary here on the channel, which I'll encourage you to check out right after this video. But quick sidebar, it's nice to see a departure from the typical Voltron strategy we come to expect from Boros. Thank you for switching it up, Kellen. And next up we have Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Okay, last one, I promise. Provided you build for it, you can do some crazy things with Cauldron and Logamos. You get one sacrificial creature to start the line, so all we need now is a handful more. Once we hit threshold on the creatures and sacrifice them, tutor up Cauldron, sacrifice Logamos, cast Cauldron, and exile Logamos. Give the +1/+1 to your battered golem. Okay, this is feeling a little magical Christmas land, but provided you get there, you can search up and play every artifact and conclude with a Dockside as the cherry on top to search up the rest of your deck. And you'd win like any other honest Rakdos list with an Underworld Breach line, but Agatha's Soul Cauldron really does open up a whole host of new playlines, some of which we have yet to discover. And last, but certainly not least, we have Likeness Looter. Lazav, the man, the myth, the multifarious, has some interesting combos, but has had an issue getting combo cards into the graveyard to copy. Likeness Looter, on the other hand, lets you fix your hand while filling your grave. Sadly, you can only use the copy effect at sorcery speed, but it is a small price to pay. You can copy Wall of Blood, pay a ton of life, then copy a lifelink creature with Lazav, the Likeness Looter, to knock a player out while refilling your health. You can also copy Miramad Phantasm to mill your whole deck, then win with a Reanimate on Labman or Thoracle. A copy of a copy. Who'd have thunk that Lazav just needed a little help from a fellow shapeshifter, who, by the way, is a very good Dimir card in and of itself. But those are our favorite combos from Wilds of Eldraine. Let me know what your favorite Eldraine-enabled combos are in the comments section below. Again, I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, and for more news and information on your favorite TCGs, subscribe to LGG. And if you enjoyed this video, send it along to the next gamer with a like. And one final note, thank you Wizards, once again, for sponsoring this video. I'll see you on the next one.